welcome to a game between HawK versus Dise. This game taking place here on Eversong, and you know what? I might restart the... Okay, hopefully the overlay loads up properly. Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game between HawK and Dise. This game taking place here on Eversong 1.1, and it's looking like, well, the overlay is there, but there's no information. Alright, well, at least you guys have the colors, the map name, and labels on the names. Let's go ahead and speed things up to get to that 2-minute mark in the game. A bit of a frustrating morning for me because, well, XSplit and WarCraft 3 didn't want to load for about 30 minutes, which is, well, normally how much time I have to cast. So hopefully things do not go awry, go sideways in this matchup. It is going to be Demon Hunter going up against an Archmage. Well, at least we have the overlays on the heroes getting underway here. HawK going to go ahead and try to take down this door here on Eversong, taking it down and then perhaps trying to do a little bit of an expansion. Meanwhile, Dise is here with a Wisp, trying to block, get in the way, as the Militia are now making their way down. Demon Hunter off on the other side, already running out across the map, does have a Ring of Protection +4, effectively 24% more additional hit points, making it very, very difficult to shut down that early Demon Hunter. Down to the south side here, Ogre Magi going to get taken down. Archmage just a little bit shy of getting up to level 2. Will he get there? Yes, he does. Does get to level 2, and the Demon Hunter was tempted to try and get perhaps maybe do a mana burn on that Archmage, as the Archmage now gives a little bit of chase here. Demon Hunter now looking to perhaps dive on into this position. That farm, is it going to get taken down? It looks as though the second peasant wasn't going to be able to get there in time, but the Demon Hunter, well, forcing the cancellation on that farm, now able to back up here. Meanwhile, a lone archer trying to poke apart this town hall here as HawK is trying to set up this expo. Demon Hunter going to be coming back around the other side. He does have a decent amount of armor, remember, able to take down or deal a bit more damage. He did go for evasion first, so evasion on top of 8 armor, but that Demon Hunter really taking far too much damage already. Alright, meanwhile, the town hall down to 51 hit points. It's going to get forced to get cancelled here as the Demon Hunter now down to 126 hit points. How much more damage can this Demon Hunter take as he slips away at 132? HawK once more trying to set up an expansion here as the archers and the footmen are battling it up in the woods as the Demon Hunter now backs up. Early tempo pressure by Dise trying to prevent the expo. Meanwhile, the tech to tier 2 is already halfway done as there is a decent number of archers out here on the battlefield. Now waiting for Dust of Appearance, even though there is a crystal ball. Perhaps the crystal ball is still on cooldown. Not 100% sure here as there's that crystal ball use. Archer not going to be able to easily slip away there. Meanwhile, Demon Hunter coming back around with Boots of Speed, Staff of Teleportation, looking to shut things down here as the Demon Hunter perhaps going to start going after those peasants instead. Archer now being forced to retreat back as the Demon Hunter, or Archer, one more final shot, yes, does take it down here. Demon Hunter is going after HawK's units, and well, HawK looks like this expo is going to be able to get set up regardless of what Dise does here. The question is, how much is HawK going to invest in this, and are we going to see a follow-up second hero putting down pressure, perhaps a demon or perhaps a panda with breath of fire to blow over those peasants as they're trying to work. HawK perhaps expecting this, getting to get up an arcane tower quickly as the Demon Hunter now, well, gets choked up on a frog here, now trying to clear up this Null Warden creep camp and get to level 3. Tech to tier 2 nearly done. We should be looking at a second hero. Tavern hero highly likely as it wants to put in a lot of pressure early as the Demon Hunter now looks to back up. Coming across the other side here, Forest Troll, Shadow Priest, Forest Troll, Trappers gonna get cleaned up as the Demon Hunter now dives on in with Immolation to get some damage across some of these peasants here. Now, remember, Immolation is not nearly as strong as it once was. This Demon Hunter, if he gets surrounded by all of these peasants, may not actually be able to take him down, as the Demon Hunter, even with such high armor and and with decent evasion, may be forced to use a Staff of Teleportation to head back out. Alright, these moon walls are still fairly full, so if at first you don't succeed, try again, and that seems to be the strategy. Scroll of Town portaling all the way back as we see the Goblin Tinker as that follow-up hero. Pocket Factory most likely going to be used here to try and break open this door, or break down the door here and take down this town hall. Demon Hunter looking to come across here. Where's that Pocket Factory? Now going to be perhaps diving on in. Arcane Tower is in position. Demon Hunter now trying to come across here as the Demon Hunter now looks to use Immolation here to perhaps try and get a bit of damage on these peasants as they are just trying to whistle while they work, so to speak. Clockwork Goblins making their way back around here. Demon Hunter pretty much going to be out of mana as the Arcane Tower holding steady at 450, 460, but a lot of peasants have been taken down. Meanwhile, the Goblin Tinker is currently still out of the fight here, not trying to dive in as he knows that that Arcane Tower is going to be able to feed back a bit too much damage, and the Pocket Factory now about to be taken out. Pocket Factory does have, I believe, heavy armor now. Yeah, having heavy armor does give the experience as the Archmage gets to level 3. It does not look like Dise is going to be able to stop HawK's Expo, and the longer HawK has this Expo, obviously the longer he's going to have that economic advantage. 41 supply now going up against 30. His army is significantly larger, but he also does have more peasants. There is a Tree of Ages, and we are going into Dryads. We're looking to see whether or not Defend will be researched, as the Tech to Tier 2 has now Tech to Tier 2 has begun and well on its way. Archmage knocking down the door here, going to come across Ancient of War and will cause a bit of problems. Dise may be easily cleaned up here as even when the Dryads come out onto the battlefield, maybe they'll be able to abolish magic those water elementals, but it should not be able to handle these footmen with Defend. All right, a little bit of slow damage coming back across here. Demon Hunter going to find one low hit point footman, take it down, and now the sudden addition of all of these Dryads here is causing a little bit of a slowing issue as we see a beautiful deny by HawK. Water Elemental now trying to give chase to the Dryad. Abolish Magic nearly done being researched, and with that we may see some level 3 Demon Hunter and a level 2 Goblin Tinker quickly make its way out onto the battlefield. However, with no Dryads giving chase, these footmen are not going to get slowed down and picked off. All right, a little bit of a tech advantage by Dise, but he is not going to be able to hold on to that, especially as HawK's Tech to Tier 2 is now done, waiting for a second hero, as we are also going into Rifleman as well. Pocket Factory is now down, going into Arcane Sanctums. Eunice trying to retreat back here. There's an Abolish Magic, getting in a bit of additional experience onto that Demon Hunter and Goblin Tinker. Pushing back the other way. Dryads trying to push here, but the footmen do have Defend and are getting healed up a bit as well. Riflemen going to be doing some target practice against those Dryads. I don't believe the Riflemen have that range upgrade yet. Still sitting at 400. Now trying to retreat back here. Archmage doing a shadow meld here, using that Cloak of Shadows fairly effectively, and now able to able to hide back here, perhaps use a Scroll of Regeneration and do a little bit more healing. Meanwhile, Pocket Factory continuing to churn out these Clockwork Goblins. Even if they suicide here, they do end up dealing damage to the Arcane Vault and the Blacksmith, perhaps trying to reach some sort of tipping point. Demon Hunter continuing to put in pressure. Footman now going to try and retreat back as we see the Footman reflecting back a little bit of damage, and now a Naga Sea Witch out here on the battlefield trying to put in trying to reinforce quickly. Demon Hunter continuing to fire back here. Footman with Defend, reflecting back all of that range damage, easily holding on here as we see the Demon Hunter now using a Staff of Teleportation to head back home. Moonwell is no longer nearly as full as the Dryads, and now a Tree of Life joining in on the fight as well. Dise perhaps going to try and expand off to the north side as we are looking to retreat back with this Goblin Tinker now. All right, I do like the use of the demonic gates here, or these gates that you have to tear down in order to set up your expansion. Also, by tearing down these demonic gates, you actually open up the map quite significantly, making these walking distances just that much shorter. Now, the question is going to be whether or not there is enough Dryads out on the battlefield to really make a significant difference. Demon Hunter is sitting with level 2 Immolation, perhaps going to try to dive on in here. Here we are, here we go. Perhaps going to try and dive on here. There is Immolation now, and now going after some of these other targets and units. The Footman, if they try and get damage on this Demon Hunter, is going to find out that it's hazardous to your health to just even be standing next to him, as the Naga Sea Witch may end up getting taken down. down. Yes, Naga Sea Witch going to get taken down there. Meanwhile, Demon Hunter going to finish off a couple of easy footmen once more as the Clockwork Goblin is still, doing their thing. Demon Hunter about 3.5. Goblin Tinker a little bit more than 3.5, still putting in pressure once again as HawK, lost that Naga Sea Witch relatively early, but it will get resurrected quickly since it is only at level 1. Coming back around, a Tree of Ages, teching into Tree of Eternity. This demonic gate could get knocked down pretty quickly by this Tree of Life and then make a slow walk over as well, perhaps trying to set up an expansion of his own. Demon Hunter gonna run off to the north here and clear up this gold mine as the Tree of Life tries to entangle this gold mine here and equal things up economically. Meanwhile, Archmage, alongside some Riflemen and Priest, clearing out some creep camps once more. All right. Tree of Life going to be, putting his life on the line, absorbing a bit of that damage here. Goblin Tinker could get to level 3 off, or will get to level 3 off of this creep camp as the Void Walker easily taken down there. Goblin Tinker perhaps with the level 2 passive ability, not level 2 Clockwork Goblins, going to be able to deal more damage, I believe, having and faster cooldown and faster generation for those Goblins as we now are transitioning into a Tome of Retraining as it also picks up a Purrupt of Vitality. All right, interesting choices overall. Demon Hunter with Immolation as its main ability. Clockwork or Goblin Tinker perhaps with stunning rockets should be coming online momentarily, as well as the Archmage gets closer to level 4 and perhaps opening things up for level 2 Brilliance Aura. All right, coming back around. Demon Hunter coming down to the south does have +8 armor, does have evasion. Also, that Orb of Venom should be difficult to take him down as the Goblin Tinker now makes its way down to the south as well with a couple of Druids of the Claw. Archmage continuing to do some damage back across on the other side. Are we going to see perhaps that retraining here? No, place down a quick Pocket Factory, so we are not going to be seeing a retraining at all. Goblin Tinker going to perhaps be trying to fall back here. Interested to see why this Tome of Retraining was picked up if it wasn't going to be going for rockets early, as the Pocket Factory is there. That is going to be one ability. Meanwhile, the Archmage gets up to level 4 after the Mortar teams quickly take down some of those Dryads, and it looks like Dise is going to be in some serious trouble. Even with a level 4 Demon Hunter now, the Mortar teams and enough units out here onto the battlefield going to protect those Mortar teams in the back, perhaps being able to lob those attacks against those Dryads. There is that retrain now to those rockets. Rockets do a bit of stunning AoE damage, but they don't stun for very long. The key is going to be whether or not they can cluster rocket damage long enough to make a difference against those 2-1 upgraded Mortar teams. It feels like HawK has everything going for him right now. If he can just hold that front door and keep this Demon Hunter at bay, the Mortar team and the Riflemen will be able to just overflow with damage. As the Archmage pushes back here, Dise is forced to retreat, and looking at that Naga Sea Witch, who wants to get to level 3, perhaps to get that level 2 Fork Lightning, and being able to finish off or burst damage some of those Druids of the Claw that are going to be in that front line spot. Meanwhile, Naga Sea Witch, cold arrows landing onto that Demon Hunter as the Demon Hunter retreats back. Expo off to the north by Dise is fully saturated. Army size 79 supply compared to 61. Dise definitely behind in that category as we're looking at the sorceresses trying to slow down to that front line here. Rifleman going to try and engage here. A bit of invisibility onto a low hit point sorceress, saving it there, and we may be forced to see some Staff of Preservation saves as well. Militia trying to perhaps stop the retreat route, but that retreat route easily getting cleaned up as the Militia just are not going to hold up here at all. Coming back around, Archmage sitting, or Naga Sea Witch nearly getting to level 3. There is a Druid of the Claw a little bit out of position here. Gonna perhaps come in for a flank from the opposite side. Here we go, as the mortar teams are just gonna walk their way over to the Tree of Life and perhaps shoot down the entangled gold mine here. Could have perhaps just gone after the Tree of Life, as the mortar teams are now trying to retreat back. This may be a free offering of 12 supply, and this is forcing those mortar teams to try and fall back, as they do have a little bit slower movement overall. All right. Meanwhile, the bears are trying to get in position. The mortar teams, a constant threat, and as they circle back around, now going to be able to perhaps shoot down that Tree of Life here with that far distance and that siege damage against that fortified armor. All right, both sides fighting their way through. Druid of the Claw could get easily taken down there. Mortar teams now switching their targets onto their sights onto these dryads, as we see a bit of stunning here. Meanwhile, Druid of the Claw going to try and dive in, perhaps take down the mortar teams once more. There's another round of cluster rockets, slowing things down a bit as one Druid of the Claw gets taken down. All right, mortar team still trying to finish off some of these dryads there. There's a little bit of splash damage, and HawK does come away with the victory. Pretty much HawK had the lead throughout the game and really never let go. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.